Carnegie's view of change.
The Gilded Age, spanning from the 1870s to the early 90s, was characterized by rapid industrialization and economic growth, leading to prosperity for the wealthy. However, it also saw extreme poverty and exploitation among the working class. Despite technological advancement and railroad expansion, the rich live lavishly, accumulating more wealth, while poor workers endure low wages and harsh working conditions. Highlighting stark inequality and societal disparities, Andrew Carnegie's Gospel of Wealth argues that immense wealth carries a more moral obligation to improve society. He contends that the problem lies not in acquiring wealth but in how it's distributed and used. Carnegie emphasizes the stewardship, urging the wealthy to take the responsibility for addressing social issues and promoting general welfare. He advocates that philanthropy as a means of redistributing wealth to foster societal development and aid the less fortunate. Aiming to rectify disparities in wealth distribution and promote the common good. In the 19th century, production faced various constraints such as technological limitation, poor infrastructure, and the regulatory obstacles leading to localized manufacturing and agricultural enterprises. Before Andrew Carnegie's time, the production was simpler, relying on manual labor and small-scale operations often conducted in individuals' home or small shops. The apprenticeship system fostered social and political equality among workers. As they live and work closely with their masters, however, despite this equality, industrial workers lack political influence. This historical context illustrates the difference between the past and the moderate production methods and societal structure. Despite technological advancement, improving production is efficiency and expanding industrialization. The contemporary challenges such as poor infrastructure, the regulatory obstacles, and the lack of skilled labor persist, echoing the conditions from before Carnegie's era. Some regions still rely on localized manufacturing and agriculture to the decentralized production of the past, and while globalization has led to large-scale factory production, social and political disparities endure, with marginalized communities facing barriers to accessing opportunities in the modern economy. In the quote of Andrew Carnegie, the poor enjoy what the rich could not before afford. What were the luxuries have become the necessaries of life. The laborer has now more comforts than the landlord had a few generations ago. Andrew Carnegie believes in transformative impact of technological and societal advancement, arguing that they have democratized access to luxuries, making them essential aspects of modern life. He contends that increased standards of living for the working class indicate a redistribution of comforts and opportunities.
Law of competition.
So, Andrew Carnegie also tackled the law of competition, which is a competitive environment that drives individuals to utilize their skills and abilities, pushing their fullest potential to reach the top of their field and accumulate wealth. In specific, competition in market leads to lower prices of goods and services with quality one, which benefits the consumer, allowing them to choose from a great number of goods and services. So, while the law may be sometimes hard for the individual, it is best for the race because it ensures the survival of the fittest in every department. The statement just emphasizes the significance of competition and its cruciality in our lives. Without competition, one will not strive to survive, attain excellence, and be on top. We should take note that although there is a law attached to the word of competition, still it is not an actual law, but rather more on a condition or trend observed in the industrial world, or it is an economic theory. However, again, the beneficial factor it holds, especially in fostering the growth of the economy and promotion of consumer welfare, drives the provision of a system of competition that is enacted into law to control and make sure competition is still at go or remains active while fostering a culture of healthy competition. Take for example, here in the Philippines, we have what we call the Philippine Competition Act or RA 10667, which is primarily concerned with consumer well-being as it ensures the continuous flow of competition while promoting fair competition among markets, allowing consumer to have various options at a lower price. Therefore, this competition remains prevalent in today's world, growing more intense over time. It is evident in companies who continuously strive to improve their products' quality and offer competitive prices to attract more consumers, gaining an edge over their rivals. We can see this competition in terms of smartphones, wherein in the past, only the rich could afford smartphone due to its expensiveness. But now, because of competition that drives various mobile companies to innovate, consumer can now choose from thousands of affordable mobile phones, yet high quality ones.